Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Seduce Me as the Otome. I can't sleep, so I figured I would record another episode, because I also haven't done so in a while. But thanks to some recent inspiration by a really cool dude named Cody Davies, you should go watch him, because he's a lot better at this Let's Playing thing than I am. And he currently just finished his LP of Undertale Blind, and he should hopefully be doing his Pacifist run soon. So you should go watch that and go support him, because he deserves it, because he's awesome. But enough promoting other people. Let's get back to Seduce Me. I don't remember what I was doing, because it's been a couple of weeks. But let's see. Let's see what's going on. I'm sure people will remember this a lot better than I will.
I swear I'll give my life to you.
Please, let me love you.
I'll be by your side, always.
I can't imagine living without you.
I want to be with you. I love you.
I slowly opened my eyes, letting the voices of my dream echo in my head and force me awake. I rubbed my eyes before sitting up, looking at my clock. 7 a.m. Why am I up so early? 7 a.m. is really early. I fell back onto the bed and closed my eyes, trying to get back to sleep. However, something kept me awake. Why? It's too early to even be alive. I gave up and sat up, staring at the fireplace across from my bed. A sigh escaped from between my lips before I threw my legs over the side of the bed. What to do at 7 a.m. in the morning? I'ma go work on my homework. I had to work on my homework. I had school tomorrow, regardless of what was happening in my life. At that moment, I wished school was over. Welp, might as well get it done now. Luckily, took my books out of my bag and sat them on the floor. Yes, because that makes sense, and that's how you read. How to tell I was not awake like 20 minutes ago. I made my bed into a study picnic area, as I soon began to work through my homework. The benefit of doing your homework in the morning? Not having to do it later. Downside, mornings suck. For trying to do anything educational. True. The formula for fixed costs is FC plus VC equal times Q. What? Oh god, that hurt my head. You know what, it's fine. It was never really much for business. I felt my brain slowly start to ramp up the flow of logical thought, speeding up the time I was working on each economic equation I had. It wasn't a matter of me being smart about anything when it came to doing homework or doing well in class, but I was quick to learn and easily retained information. That's actually a pretty useful skill. Because, anybody can memorize, but actually retaining the information and being able to keep that in your head, now that's useful. If only I could learn about the boys as fast. I stopped. Did I really just compare learning about demons to learning about economics? It's 7 a.m. Too early to be alive, let alone make sense. I shook my head and continued to work. Because we must be economic. I returned to bed, feeling the weight of the morning drag me under the covers to sleep. I had energy, but I wanted more sleep. I know that feeling. It was Sunday, and nothing was happening today. Come on, eyes. Sleep. Sleep. Go to sleep. Hypnotize yourself. Why is time going so slowly? A sigh, got changed into normal clothes and went out into the main hall. Fuck. Screw that. If I was her, I would literally just walk around in my pajamas. If I ain't going anywhere, no reason to get dressed. However, the muffled sounds of battle caught my attention. Huh? Quickly went out to the backyard in response to the noise I had heard. In the yard were all 5 of the boys practicing fighting. Sam was in the middle with the other 4 surrounding him and throwing punches and kicks at him. Sam, being the strongest of the bunch, blocked and dodged, each almost masterfully. I'll leave them alone. I mean, they did say that they were going to practice to fight Malik, so why bog them? I just watched. The boys were very much in their own world, focusing on the training they were all in. It was better not to disturb them. I checked the time and decided to head inside the kitchen. I was getting hungry, and I'm sure the boys would need to eat soon, so lunch was a must. Might as well make lunch today. It's been a while since I cooked. Crackle those old fingers. Get all the cook rust out. Lunch wasn't particularly hard. I decided to make sandwiches. 'Cause why not? I assembled simple ham sandwiches for all of us. After I poured some potato chips on the side of each sandwich, I felt satisfied. Who said the lunch had to be cooked? I placed the food in the dining room. However, none of the boys were there by the time I brought out the final dish. I carried that dish to the main lobby, catching the boys separating into different rooms of the house. Part of me wanted to go to one in particular. The other part of me wanted to just leave them be and take the food in my hand to my room and eat. Maybe I could go out today while the boys were focusing on training. Room. I sighed against bothering them. They knew where the food was, so I went to my room instead and ate alone in my room. Not my job. That's not my job. I turned on my computer and started to jam to music as I ate my food. As I ate, I began to think about what's going on. There are so many places to go, things to do. I want to... You know what? I know what each of these does. Thinking about it, I'm gonna stay. I need to stay in. There's really no need to spend my day anywhere except home. I'll just entertain myself. The question was, how? Ooh, this is some mysterious music. I'm a steady. Why? Why did I choose study? As if some omnipotent force has forced me into studying. The horror sound of your father yelling in your head. That'll be enough to drive you crazy. Just more studying. Slight surprise. On 3/4 of the page was an image of a teenager passing out toys to children on the street. The caption, Harold Anderson, 1940, teen life before becoming a wealthy businessman. Aw, Grandpa. I had known of my father's rise in the business like it was a story to memorize. He was just a teen in Chicago who really cared for kids. However, in response to an influx of homeless children, my grandfather started saving money and building toys to comfort them. He even went so far to sell some of his toys to buy food and blankets for them. He eventually was given an award upon award, earning scholarships to go to Ivy League schools for engineering and design. Instead, though, he went into business and wound up being top of his class. He graduated with a plan and built Anderson Family Toys, practically from the ground up. He knew how to play the game, and eventually became a master of the business world. He had become a figure to look up to as well as a business rival to be feared. I ran my fingers over the picture, remembering how much older he looked when I last saw him. You were a prodigy. To think I would see him in books was almost a story-like. Here was someone of my flesh and blood for all to see. Frankly, I liked this picture a lot. Everyone knew of Harold Anderson, the CEO of Anderson Toy Company, but I knew him better as my grandfather. He truly had the heart of a child covered in pure gold. I shook out my head and continued to study until dinner came around. The remainder of the night passed and went, probably nothing really happening. The boys continued to train with each other, but were kind enough to stop and make me dinner. I was glad for that. Unsurprisingly, the food was perfect. It felt a little empty without the boys to eat with me, but they had most likely already eaten or whatever, but still, felt lonely. I couldn't let it bother me, though. I ate and went back to my room, study, sleep. Surprisingly, I felt good going to bed that night. Felt like I could have peacefully slept after the previous rest nights I had. I felt good. I drifted to sleep and awoke almost flawlessly. The next morning, no grogginess, no aches, perfectly energized and bright-eyed. Man, how long has it been since I got that much good sleep? You know, as someone who currently only awake because they can't sleep, I can answer this question myself. I looked at my alarm clock. I woke up 10 minutes before my alarm. Well, how do you do? My lucky day. Karma owed me some luck after all that gone through in a couple of days. Ecstatic for the day ahead, I turned off my alarms before they could ring and got dressed. However, my phone started to quickly buzz from an incoming text. Huh? Who's texting me this
Yo,
early?
Anderson, you're carpooling with us from now on. We're not letting you waste your money on a bus. Get ready and be at your gate at 7 stat.
Okay, Suzu. I smiled. My friends were the best. I couldn't drive yet, and I didn't have a car, so it was awesome that my friends would let me carpool. Check the time, 6:30. Perfect. Time for breakfast. 'Cause food. Packed my bag. I packed my gag. Carried it downstairs into the kitchen. Quickly made myself coffee and toast. Not having time for anything big. I let out a soft sigh in happiness as I sipped my coffee. I felt great, and I felt like nothing could stop me today. Come at me, Day. I'm ready for you. Put 'em up. Put 'em there. I looked at the time again. Time to go. Right on cue, Naomi drove to the gates with Suzu waving me down. I rushed out the door and we head to school, talking about the homework and the coming day. We made it into school without a hitch. Our lockers were in the same part of the hall, so we moved quickly, unloaded, and got exactly what we needed. First day of the incident. As I walked towards Suzu and Naomi, we were both waiting for me on the They were waiting for me. Something hooked my ankle and made me fall forward. Wow, ow!
Hey, are you okay? Who did that?
The three of us looked back to see Lizette and her gaggle of friends. Lizette had a look of complete innocence while the girls around her giggled like no tomorrow.
Suzu, don't!
I felt a giant fire of anger burn in my stomach as I stared at Lizette. Today was not the only time this had happened to me. However, it was now clear who was behind these incidents. Even if she was innocent and one of her goons did it, it was now obvious that Lizette was the mastermind just from the look of her face. She was no friend, nor would she ever be. I had to do something. Ooh. You know what? I have to. Get her. I'd had enough. I felt adrenaline rush through my body as I pounced off the ground and rushed at Lizette. I was not going to be the only one with scrapes this time. I tackled Lizette to the ground, swiping and slapping her innocent face. She screamed in fright before trying to push me off and block my attacks.
Shit! Anderson! Stop it!
I wasn't listening anymore. I let my carnal need to get revenge take over as I began to pull at Lizette's hair to get better aim at her face with my free hand. I'd had enough of the bullying, the wounds, the insults. All of that was going to burn in the past as I scraped my nails and hands across Lizette's face over and over again. My rebellion would be marked on her pretty face for all to see. Ooh. Girl, you don't mess with Chara. Lizette pushed me off and scrambled to her feet, both panicked and angry at the same time. Her emotion was nowhere close to the anger I was feeling.
What the hell?
I stood up very slowly, glaring daggers into Lizette's soul through her eyes. I must have had some sort of monster behind me. Or maybe I looked like the monster myself. But the gaggle of girls, Lizette, even my friends had a look of pure terror on their faces. I have had enough of you, Lizette. You obviously won't stop unless I fight back. Well, guess what? You're gonna get it. I charged at Lizette a second time, shoving her hard against the lockers. She let out a yelp of pain as she smacked the back of her head against the metal, before glaring at me and shoving me back. As I stumbled back, Lizette raised her hands, ready to fight.
Show me what you've got. I bet it's not much.
Girl, I just tore apart your face. I felt myself snarl in anger before raising my own fists, remembering my taekwondo. I quickly snapped onto one leg and raised the leg to get a swift kick at her head, but she blocked with her arm and stepped towards jabbing me. She had training. Not surprising, but I didn't really care. I bent back away from the incoming jab, reestablishing my balance as I placed both feet on the floor. Lizette threw a jab after jab at me, forcing me back to block my torso and face with arms and hands. Hit for hit, Lizette and I exchanged and defended blows at each other. It was indeed more than just a catfight. This was a vengeful duel for honor and glory. In my mind, all I saw was Lizette. All I wanted to was to make her stop, and if that meant beating her down, then it had to be done. We eventually gained a small crowd of people, all silent but observing the fight. My anger intensified and my hits became harder with each second that passed between us. I couldn't let her win. I wouldn't let her win. None of Lizette's girls dared to step in, apparently afraid after seeing our skills in individual fighting. Suzu was held back by Naomi's arm, despite both of them wanting to help. They didn't wait long for it to end, though. Suddenly, Lizette was pulled away from me, and I was pushed against the lockers by strong force. Lizette hit the lockers as well on the opposite end of the hallway, letting out a girly grunt of pain. I looked up to see my art teacher, Mrs. Gordon, holding me against the lockers with a look of surprise and serious concern on her face.
What are you doing?
I looked to see Lizette being held back by Mrs. Phillips, starting to cry innocently. I knew what was going to come out of her mouth, so I tried to push Miss Gordon off to confront her. Mrs. Gordon, however, kept an arm wrapped around me, keeping me back. I can't really yell right now, but imagine me yelling furiously. No! Don't you dare start crying, Lizette. You started
Miss
this.
Anderson, get a hold of yourself!
What is wrong with you? What did I ever do to you? I couldn't stop the angry tears running down my face as I shouted across the hallway. Lizette and Miss Phillips stared in shock at my screams as Miss Gordon tightened her hold on me. I am so sick of it! Leave me alone! Eventually I lost my energy and began to weigh down on Mrs. Gordon's arms, letting my sadness take over and quench my anger with tears and swelling pain. I could feel Miss Gordon hug me close to her to keep me upright as Lizette sniffled and confided with Miss Phillips.
To her. She just attacked me. That's a lie, Lisette. You tripped her on purpose. You've always been a snobby prick to us.
Never! I gave my condolences about her grandfather's death!
You didn't even sound sincere! We know you were only pretending to be nice to spite us!
Enough! Miss White, follow me to the dean's office.
Oh, I never noticed this playing the game before, but Miss Gordon has heterochromia. Interesting. I think heterochromia is cool. Wish I knew people in real life who actually had two different eye colors. Lizette followed, wiping her tears in the feigned innocence she knew how to play up. I remained still in Mrs. Gordon's arms, unable to bring myself to fight. I had done my damage. The gaggle of Lizette wannabes would make sure I became infamous around the school. I didn't care. I made my statement on Lizette's face and body, and I wasn't afraid to do it again. Miss Gordon, however, wasn't done with me. I nodded and followed as my friends frowned as they watched me leave, but they headed to class without me. Miss Gordon led me to an empty classroom, which she had claimed as hers. It looked like all the other classrooms, but art posters lined the walls. Many students loved the room, but hated one thing, the mirror in the very back of the room. It was the one thing Miss Gordon loved to use against her students. With it, she was able to see who was using their phones and who was actually studying. Miss Gordon led me to the back of the room and sat me down in front of it. Huh?
Tell me what you see.
I looked in the mirror and saw myself. My clothes were a little ruffled from the fight, but beyond that, I just saw me. Nothing about me seemed different than normal. I see myself.
Right. What else?
What else? I don't
Do you know
understand.
what I see? I see a brilliant woman who's been working her butt off to try and find herself. She just has a little bit of adversity in her way.
What does this have to do with what happened with Lisette?
Listen, don't think about Lisette right now. She's just another student who doesn't know what you're going through.
I stared at myself in the mirror, unable to tear my eyes away. She was right, but I still lingered on what happened. I know Miss Gordon was only trying to help, but I couldn't fight the thoughts in my head.
You know, those were some pretty interesting moves. Taekwondo.
Yeah,
You'll have
actually.
to show me one day.
I laughed as she hugged me
Look,
gently.
Don't let Lisette get to you, okay? You have your own battles to face, and you can face them just fine. Instead of fighting Lisette, focus on your goals.
I looked up at her and nodded slightly. It was cliche to hear, but she was telling the truth. I needed to focus on myself first. She gave me a small packet of tissues and told me that she would handle Lisette. The fear about my family learning of this had quickly appeared, vanished when she promised to keep me as much
Everything
out
will
as
be fine
possible.
now. You're a good student, so I'll let you off with a severe warning. Just don't get into any more fights, okay?
I nodded before heading to class. Surprisingly, the rest of the school day went off without another incident. I went to my classes, had lunch, and was anxious to get home. As the bell rang for school to end, I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket. Huh? A text? From Dad? I'll be picking you up today. Make sure you're ready to go when I get there. That's kind of a surprise. I quickly headed back to my locker and got my things before waiting for Naomi and Suzu.
Hey, are you ready to go?
Actually, my dad's
Really?
picking me up.
Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense.
We'll drive home together next time. Tell your dad that we've got you.
Yeah, alright. Even while I laughed, something didn't seem right. My dad texted me to say this. Why was he going to pick me up? Had I done something wrong? I honestly didn't know. I waved goodbye to Naomi and Suzu before heading off to the usual spot, where my dad picks me up. I took the time to listen to my music while I waited. I need to go to another Rise of the Phoenix concert. Eventually I played the entire album with no one showing up. What the hey? Dad's never late, especially not this late. I quickly dialed my dad's number again, but as soon as I pressed call it disconnected, and read a signal disconnection error. What the? No signal error? How do I have no signal? I double-checked my phone and saw all 5 bars for signal. He must be in a dead zip. Before I could finish, a group of hands grabbed at my hands and feet and covered my mouth. I screamed into the hand over my mouth, struggling to pull away from the hands grabbing at my limbs. It felt disgusting and scary, feeling their hands on me. I needed to stop.
Don't dirty up Malix's prey.
That voice was sent a fearful shiver down my spine, whispered into my ear.
Coming with me, Miss Anderson.
I couldn't fathom what was happening, but before I knew it, I was blindfolded and my limbs were quickly tied up. I felt myself being carried somewhere and was shoved into something that echoed in the interior of a bus or a van. The doors closed and off I was taken, unsure of where I was going and why. All I knew was that I was in trouble. And with that, I'm going to end the episode. Because shit's going to go down, and I would rather have a next episode. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the part. And I will leave a link down to Cody's channel in the description. And like I said, please feel free to check him out. And I hope to see you guys next time, as we get to see what Malik has planned in store for us. So, see you guys then. Have a great day. Bye.